Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to the March 19th to 2018 Board of Commissioners meeting. We are without Chairman Lancaster tonight. He and his members of the family are at home. As some of you may know, there was an illness. We are so happy to have them back home tonight. And I'm going to call on Commissioner Jimmy Keefe for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Who else, Dan? We bow our heads. Lord, thank you for this beautiful day, and grant each of us the wisdom, the understanding, and compassion to understand each other as we go through the business in your hands. Please lift up the Lancaster family in your arms as they go through this time of illness, and be with them as the recovery goes forward. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Fayetteville Cumberland County Youth Council members are with us tonight. Andrew, would you come forward first and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Andrew Grusin. I'm a senior at Grace Creek High School this year. I'm with the Fayetteville Cumberland Youth Council. I've been with them for about, this is my third year, final year, graduating with them.
Thank you. Thank you. Emily, come tell us your name and your school.
Hello, I'm Emily Brzee. I'm also a senior at Grace Creek High School, and I've been with the Fayetteville Cumberland Youth Council for 2 years now.
Thank you. I'll call on you again for a comment at the end of the meeting.
Madam Chair, they were represented very well in Washington with the Youth Council just last week, I believe. Did either of y'all go? Oh, okay. But it was a good showing, and thank you for representing our community.
We have the Human Relations Commission, Fayetteville Human Relations Commission, held its 50th annual awards reception on March the 15th. As a former member of the Fayetteville Human Relations Commission, I'd like to congratulate you on 50 years of excellent service to the community. Ms. Sheila Cuffey, who is the chairperson for the commission, is here along with Dr. Anthony Wade and other, you come forward. Tony Morris, I'm sorry. Members of the board, would you come up, or staff, and we're going to take pictures. For 50 years, the Human Relations Commission has been working for fairness and equality and a unity of way of life. I want to congratulate Ms. Cuffey on receiving the Burton Pate Award for your work.
Thank you.
And for the fact that you are a graduate of the Cumberland County
Citizens Academy.
What am I
Citizens Academy.
Citizens Academy. I want to call everything the Youth Council. I'm trying to go backwards now, you know. But congratulations on that. And I'm going to turn it over to you and to ask the three of you for a special presentation tonight to somebody that I do not know well at all.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. The Esther Depp Mary McAllister Individual Award is given to an individual who exhibits constructive concern for oppressed people, speaks out on issues affecting the lives of poor people, is active in community or civic affairs, promotes community and human life improvement concerns, and exemplifies a positive attitude toward improving human relations. Cumberland County Commissioner Charles Evans has succeeded in advancing human relations through his many civic and community affairs. He has long fought for oppressed people and speaks out on issues affecting the lives of the poor. He has been involved in activities worthy of human relation recognition by promoting community and human betterment. The 2017 Cumberland County Expungement Program was hugely successful in assisting citizens of Fayetteville and Cumberland County in clearing their criminal records. Commissioner Evans has a desire to help others and make this community a better place for everyone. One of his desires became reality when he enlisted the help of Cumberland County District Attorney Billy West, Fayetteville Mayor Mitch Colvin, and North Carolina House of Representative Elmer Floyd. Over 700 individuals attended information sessions with hopes of having prior criminal records cleared. 140 were successful in this endeavor. The remainder were assisted by Life is Worth Living Project Fresh Start, an organization founded by Mr. Evans to help individuals that have been convicted of felonies find jobs, housing, and educational opportunities needed to help them become productive members of our community. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Fayetteville Cumberland Human Relations Commission, it is my esteemed honor to present the 2018 Esther Depp and Mary McAllister Individual Award to Commissioner Charles Evans.
Hit you. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, Charles. Yeah, come around, shake hands. I'm in commission. Just trying to ignore it. It's all right, baby.
Hey, John.
Oh, no.
Can't trust anybody. Frank, you let it slide?
That's called the Adam.
I got that.
No, you did. I was looking.
That's
You
called
got
the
the belt window.
It's called the blend.
Y'all are
All
funny.
clear.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Commissioner Evans, for
gotta go.
this award.
John and I got this down.
Public comment period. County Manager.
Yes, ma'am.
Shannon, would you read the policy, please?
I certainly will. The Board of Commissioners holds a public comment period at our monthly evening meeting. This is an opportunity for the Board of Commissioners to hear from citizens, but it's not designed to elicit responses from the Board of Commissioners in this setting. The public comment period shall last no longer than 15 minutes, with each speaker allotted 3 minutes. We would ask each speaker to give their name and address as they come forward to the lectern. The clerk will call you up. Thank you.
How many speakers do
We have a total of 5 speakers this evening.
How are we going to make sure that gets into 15 minutes? Okay, help me.
Our first speaker is Mr. Tom Clark.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As Ray Stevens says, it's me again, Ethel. But what I'd like to talk about tonight is it's a news story in the Fayetteville Observer. It was dated March 18th, this past Sunday. It says, developers, ACP, want more time for tree clearing. And according to a letter from the ACP in that news story, it says the proposed modification will be at least as environmentally protective as the initially agreed to limits. So they're saying they're going to stick to what they're doing, keep keep doing it the same way. Well, in Richmond, Virginia, the DEQ takes enforcement action against ACP. Richmond, Virginia, the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality issued a notice of violation to the ACP on March the 16th for failing to maintain adequate limits of distance during tree felling operations in violation of Virginia State Water Control. Not one time, not 2 times, but 15 times. So they're maintaining, that's not a good way to maintain. Those 15 violations could result in a $32,000 each per day fine. $32,000 each per day. So I think I would change the way I'm doing business if I was ACP. And another story that sort of wasn't very good for the ACP, last week, PulseNCPolicyWatch.org, you can go on there and see this. It says, breaking. Federal judge rules in favor of 2 North Carolina landowners in Lane's Coast Pipeline case. U.S. District Court Judge Bull ruled today that 2 landowners do not have to allow ACP contractors on their property to begin tree cutting, at least for now. So what I'm trying to say tonight, the main thing I'm trying to say is the ACP wants everybody to think they're doing everything right. They don't, they come out with all their studies and say this and that, but they never tell you about their violations. I guess when they're spending our money, they can afford $32,000 per day per fine. So I just thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ms. Charlotte Robinson.
Ms. Charlotte Robinson. Next, please.
Our next speaker is Andrew Early.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Andrew Early, and I guess I'm just here. I just have a couple questions. I think I have about 3 minutes or so. I'm here on behalf of the T.J. Robinson Life Center. We've been here many times before over the last 9 years or so. And what we've always gotten from different members of City Council and members of the County Commissioners is that they've been in support of this project. For those of you that do not know, this project is a 57,000 square foot facility that is in Hope Mills, North Carolina. If you have not had an opportunity to visit the site, I would recommend that you go to www.tjrlifecenter.org and actually just watch the commercial. That's www.tjrlifecenter.org and watch the commercial. And if you can watch that commercial without tearing up, then that says something about you as a human being. So I would just ask that for all of the projects that have been put before the county, city council, that require funding or assistance with funding, I just ask that someone take a serious look at this particular project. It's been 9 years that we've been kind of playing around with this particular project. 9 years, over $1.5 million of personal funds invested into this. Personal funds, life savings of 2 individuals. So I ask that over the last 9 years, I know the county has funded some projects. We've expanded the detention center. You know, there's some talks about Civil War Museum. You know, there's some other projects, you know, baseball stadium. There are a lot of things that are happening within the community, within Cumberland County and the surrounding areas. But I would just like to ask that someone here take a serious look at that particular project. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Pastor Proctor.
Good evening. I'm Pastor Fallon Proctor. As you heard, I just wanted to take a moment to also speak on behalf of the community for the T.J. Robinson Life Center. I've been working with the project for over a year now. We've come to a place to where we see that we've had an attitude almost within the county that we would rather build detention centers and build other treatment centers opposed to taking a hard look at being able to address our children where they are, to give them a place of safety, to give them a place where we can actually give them some tutorship, some mentorship, and other things that would invest in them now so that the future for them could be brighter. And so we're taking a hard look at this within the county to see how we can actually be able to plug the gap to provide some educational assistance, to provide some information for the parents within the community, to have an opportunity to know that there are some alternatives for their kids. One of the things that we're really concentrating our efforts on is looking at some juvenile diversion, giving an education to the kids to have an opportunity to know how the system works before they become a product of the system. One of the biggest things that we're concentrating on now is to be able to give them an opportunity to look for hope. Where do they find that hope if they're never presented with an opportunity to see that somebody who looked like them, somebody who struggled in their area where they are as young people, who's had an opportunity to overcome some adversities, to take someone who comes from a single-parent home who has the opportunity to become a mayor, to become a city councilman, to become a pastor, to become an educator. It gives them an opportunity to be able to look upward, to look outward, and to look onward. And so we're asking the county to take an opportunity and to take a look around the community. Instead of trying to reinvest in things that have not even come to fruition, we have a project that has already begun not to just come to fruition for a dream, but to become a reality, with a place that have a space now and is moving onward and impacting lives now in the community, and actually curbing some of the problems with our behavior within the kids, the education system. We're plugged in with the school board and with the school county educators to be able to provide free tutoring, to be able to provide mentorship with community partnerships of some of the social organizations as well as churches. Our church is invested in this project not just through dollars, but also through volunteer time and through mentorship and tutoring, and has seen an impact already in the lives of the children. So again, we encourage you, go and visit tjrlifecenter.org. Go out and visit the project there in Hope Mills, have an opportunity to see it. Of course, we invite you to come and take a tour of the facility and to see what is available and what is still to come. Thank you very much.
Our last speaker is Chief District Court Judge
Can I
Robert Steele.
stop you for 1 minute? I didn't see Ms. Robertson because you were blocked by the judge. Did you want to speak, or did you wish, were you starting to speak?
No, I don't.
Okay. Wave your hand if you're here supporting that center. Thank you. Chief Judge, District Court Judge
Thank you.
Steele.
Acting
Thank you.
Madam Chairwoman, Commissioners, my name is Robert Steele. I'm the Chief District Court Judge. My address is 117 Dick Street. It's a privilege to give you a monthly update. Last month, I wanted to share some figures with you. Your courthouse, we had 62,087 citizens come through the doors. There were 20,486 cases scheduled, of which 17,701 of those were scheduled before your 10 district court judges in 12 different courtrooms, and also included 6 specialty courts programs and the CGI Community Jail Initiative as well. The Superior Courts, of which you have 4 Superior Court judges, had 2,785 cases that were scheduled. I want to thank the commissioners, county staff. Dwayne Holder and I were privileged to attend a mental health collaborative was offered for folks statewide. Part of it involved attending the Stepping Up Initiative, background program facilitation, some guidelines, some good words of advice. And I want to share with you just a little bit what you already know. A county without a mental health program of some sorts connected to its courts can pretty much count on those repeat offenders spending nearly twice as long in jail awaiting trial, and even more time than that once sentenced. As well, the recidivism rates drop dramatically when we begin to address the mental health needs of those that are in the jail. Our own sheriff has shared with us that as little as a third, as much as 60% of the folks in our local jail are suffering from mild to severe diagnosed mental health issues. Whether you appreciate it or not, throughout this country, the largest mental health treatment facilities now are your local jails. That's where people are winding up. And whether you have a huge heart, which I know you all personally, and I know you do, or whether you're just figured in and honed in and focused on the cost to the taxpayers, per person over the course of a year if left for us to do business as usual. I think we can all agree that on the front end, some money invested in addressing the mental health needs of these individuals, connecting them with treatment, will reduce recidivism and will also save our county many, many tax dollars in the long run. So I'm going to stop with that. I appreciate you listening to me. If you have any questions at any point in time, I'm here every day. I'm on the second floor. I'll be glad to come up to the 5th floor on high and speak with any of you or answer any questions should we choose to take that route. And thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
There are no further speakers.
Then the public comment period is closed. Thank you all for your participation in this period. County Manager?
Yes, Ms. Cannon?
Yes, ma'am. Item number 1 is approval of the agenda. County management has no changes this evening.
I move approval of the agenda.
Second.
All right, you've heard the motion for approval of agenda. Those in favor?
Unanimous.
All right, it passes. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda? I move approval of the consent agenda.
I was going. I'll second that then, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you. Got a motion, second, and vote. Those in favor?
Unanimous.
I got to remember not to jump the gun. All right.
Item number 3 is our public hearings. We have 2 uncontested rezoning cases. The first case is case P18-05. Mr. Lloyd.
Yes, ma'am. First case is simple rezoning of 2 acres from A1 to R40. It's to put another unit on the land. There was no one in opposition at the planning board. I don't believe there's any opposition tonight. They recommended unanimous approval.
P. Okay, I don't have it.
You got to open the public hearing anyway.
I'll open the public hearing on case P1805. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
I'll close the public hearing. Are there questions or is there discussion on this case? If not, I call for a motion. Mr.
Madam Chair, I'd move that in case P18-05 that we approve the rezoning from A1 agricultural to R40 residential and find this recommendation to be consistent with the 2030 growth plan, vision plan, which calls for rural areas at this location, and further find approval of the request is reasonable and in the public interest because public water is available and the request is comparable to lot sizes in the surrounding area and will allow similar land uses.
Second.
All right, are there questions? Any questions? If not, you've heard the motion. And second, all in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you. Next case, P1806.
Yes, ma'am. It's the same type of rezoning, a rezoning of 2 acres from A1 to R40. Again, it's to allow another structure to be placed on the property. It's consistent with the plans, all the plans. The planning board recommended unanimous approval, for approval, and there was no opposition at that meeting, and I don't believe there's any tonight.
All right. Let's open the public hearing on case P1806. Are there speakers?
There are no speakers.
I'll close the public hearing. Are there questions or is there discussion on this case? If not, I see Mr. Faircloth's button.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. In case P18-06, I would move to approve the rezoning from A1 agricultural to R40 residential and find this recommendation to be consistent with the Southeast Cumberland Land Use Plan, which calls for 1 acre lots without public water at this location. Excuse me, and further find approval of the request is reasonable in the public interest because the district requested is in harmony with surrounding lot sizes and land uses.
Second.
That's a motion and a second. You ready to vote? All those in favor?
Unanimous.
All right, thank you. Motion passes.
Item number 4 is our items of business. And Madam Chair and Commissioners, we have one item. Before you, we have a consideration of a proposed schedule for the fiscal year 2019 budget work sessions and the public hearing. And so before you this evening is a proposed schedule. This schedule would have the budget presentation on Tuesday, May 22nd at 7 p.m. We would follow that up with a first budget work session on Tuesday, May 29th. And then the following Thursday evening on the 31st, we would have an opportunity to hear from department heads with the public hearing on Monday, June 4th. Then we have several other work sessions with the goal to adopt the budget on or before Wednesday, June 13. So this is for your consideration, and we would gladly answer any questions that you may have.
All right, does anyone have a conflict that they know of? Oh,
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was going to move to adopt the schedule.
This is Lancaster's button.
No, that was going to be. He used to sit here. They didn't never change those.
So what? Who had the question?
No, I was going to move to adopt the
okay.
schedule for the FY19 budget sessions and public hearing as recommended.
Second.
All right, you've heard the motion. Are there any questions? If not, those in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Item number 5 is nominations and appointments.
For
The Social Services Board.
Social Services Board.
Madam Chairman, I would move to nominate Commissioner Evans to the Social Services Board.
I thought we're nominating and
And
appointing.
appointing, and nominate and appoint Commissioner Evans to the Social Services Board.
Second.
Ready for the vote? Those in favor?
Unanimous.
Thank you.
I see Chuck raise his hand.
Slowly down here. It was slow.
I did. I really did.
It only got about this high. Commissioner Evans. Okay.
Item number 6 are our nominations.
Like the Southeastern Economic Development Commission, I'd like to nominate County Manager Amy Cannon.
Second.
Thank you. Cumberland County, are there other nominations? Hearing none, let's go to.
Madam Chair, and just so that we are on procedural route, that we're waiving and appoint and nominating, because I don't know if that's what needs to happen for the minutes for the Southeastern Economic Development Commission. We have the ability by the commissioners to waive that reappointment and appoint and nominate the manager.
Nominate and appoint. Is that what you say?
No, normally she wouldn't be eligible to be reappointed, but in that we have the ability to waive that if you look through the rules of the Southeastern Division. So we would waive that right. We use that right and nominate her for that position.
Okay. Thank you.
Any question?
Are there any questions?
Question.
I can't see. Okay.
Ms. Cannon, what was the purpose behind the waiver?
I have finished my 2 terms on the board. Currently, I am serving as the vice chair, and so the commission has asked the Board of Commissioners if I could serve an additional term as the vice chairman.
Okay. Who's our other representative on that board?
This is the executive committee, and so you have two commissioners that are on the full board, and that's Commissioner Adams and Commissioner Council.
Okay.
They are not members of the executive committee.
I understand. Wasn't there at one time, I remember I used to be on this board, but I had to be taken off because of certain requirements on this board?
I think that may be a different board under the planning.
Okay.
Under
Thank you.
planning.
Thank you.
You okay with this?
I don't care. I'm good.
Madam Chair, do we have a motion on the floor?
There's a motion on the floor.
Yes,
Was there a second?
well, I think you got to waive that first, and that's the motion, then you can nominate.
And second.
There's a motion to waive the
To allow her to serve another term.
requirement to allow her to serve, since she's serving as an
Vice
officer of this
Right.
commission. Those in favor?
Unanimous.
All right, thank you. And now we make the nomination?
No, she's not, I would nominate her for that
Okay.
position.
We have County Manager Amy Cannon nominated. Thank you. Next, the Cumberland County Juvenile Crime Commission. Prevention Council has 2 vacancies.
Madam Chair, I would nominate for the at-large Representative Nicole Hawkins and Dr. Mark Kendrick.
All right. Are there other nominations? Mr. Keefe?
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm off. I'm off.
Okay. You ready next for Cape Fear Valley Health System Board of Trustees?
Madam Chairman, I would nominate, Mr. Fairclough, are you going to say?
Mr.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'll do it. Madam Chair, there are 3 vacancies on the Cape Fear Valley Board. All of the individuals are eligible for reappointment, and they've all agreed to serve another term. So at this time, I would nominate for the medical doctor positions, Dr. Sandra Carr Johnson and Dr. Sanjay Shah, and for the general public appointee, Sandy Ammons.
Thank you. Let's go on to Madam Manager. Who do we have next?
This is the Cumberland County Home and Community Care Block Grant Committee. We have 1 vacancy.
Madam Chairman, I would nominate Meredith Egan, E-A-G-A-N, I guess. Yes.
Are there other nominations? All right, someone go ahead to the appointments, please. Oh, I messed up. I don't see any buttons.
Madam Chairman, as to the Board of Equalization, I think they have to recommend the following officers: William Holland as chair, William Beard as first vice chair, Rodney Sherrill as second vice chair. I would make that motion.
I'll second.
All right. Thank you. Those in favor?
Unanimous.
Was that just A? Was that A and B?
Well, because those were the officers, I just did A. I can do B now. I just didn't want to mix the two since that was their officers. But for the Tourism Development Authority, I would nominate a new contractor. It's a hotel and motel over 100 rooms representative.
I'd second the motion.
All right, you've heard the motion. Those in favor?
Unanimous.
I would move to adjourn.
Oh,
got that question.
one more.
You know me.
One more. We've
That's
got to
right.
hear from Andrew and Emily. You can come up together if you like. Who's first?
I'll go first. The one thing that I learned from this meeting was you guys make a lot of stressful decisions. Like these people coming up to you requesting projects and funding. There's a lot of people and everyone needs money. Everybody needs stuff. And, like, it's just like you guys make important decisions that a lot of people like don't understand.
Thank you. Yes, you're right.
Back at FCYC, we tried to do mock trials, and so it was really interesting to see the process done in real life. So it runs a lot smoother than ours does. But yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. Come around, please. Come around, please. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Get one more.
Oh, my goodness. I'm used to them. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take that motion.
So that's where it's gonna be. You taught us well.
Thank you. While we're standing,
Can you get a picture with the commission? Get in the middle. Okay, one, two, three. One more from up high. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
okay. Thank you. I move that we adjourn.
Second.